Playmaking is defined as a player in a team game who leads attacks or brings other players on the same side into a position from which they could score. And as basketball fans, we've been blessed with the absolute best floor generals throughout our time. The over-the-top fancy antics of Jason Williams, the methodical executions of Chris Paul, the point god, and of course, the inventor of Showtime, Magic Johnson. But as the years move on, the old guard is ushered out in order to welcome in a new era of talent. And today I want to shine a light on the new guard, no pun intended. The faces in the league today that represent the next generation of playmakers. Let's kick this off in Believe Land, a place that's no stranger to having elite floor generals. They've got a guy right now that quite literally went from the worst basketball player in the entire NBA to averaging 22 points and 8.5 assists in his very first year of complete on-ball duty. I'm talking about Darius Garland. There are shades of the great Canadian Steve Nash in his game, operating as a small guard that isn't going over top of defenders, but rather around and underneath them. And when he does employ these methods and gets deep into the paint, he's able to fire off a soft touch lob to Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, or he can throw a dart to the corner with either his dominant or non-dominant hand, all while maneuvering carefully through the trees. I think what I appreciate most is his use of misdirection. He creates enough problems with his quick bursts of speeds and sharp change of direction, but sprinkle in the number of look-offs he incorporates into his game and you'll see why he's one of the most exciting passers in the league today. His combination of super speed and quickness with great snap decision-making and 2 7-foot lob threats, his passing is going to be put on display at all times, especially considering how good the Cavs are going to be as a team next year. And I want to talk about the play that actually made me a fan of Darius Garland. And you'll notice when you watch it that it's not the flashiest thing ever. It's just a beauty.
Stewart can't grab it. Garland pops it ahead to himself. Here he comes, Garland. Alley-oop for a Toro. My word.
The Cavaliers are having a good time early in the ball game.
Now, if you're asking yourself, why does he like this play? It's just an alley-oop. Darius Garland did not miss a step. He took everything in stride, from the tap up to the air, to catching the ball as it falls down, to hopping into an alley-oop. It was simple, it was good basketball, and that's really all I need. I've been a very, very strong advocate of people watching the NBA and appreciating the game itself. Forget the players, forget the score, forget the narratives. Just watch the play. These guys are putting on a show, and they're making it look damn good. And that's what I love about Darius Garland. He's able to mix in the fundamentals of being a point guard floor general while also maintaining enough of an offensive threat so that teams can't blatantly ignore him. So what do I think his overall ceiling is? A perennial all-star, most likely. A 1 to 2 time assist leader, probably maxing out around 11 assists per game one year. And he will be, at least I think, the second best PNR point guard in the league, staying behind the next subject in this video, Luka Doncic. Luka takes everything Darius does and expands on it. Much like DG, Luka's misdirection comes from the look-offs, but also it comes from one of my new favorite basketball things, the floater lob trick. A move that's very popular with his NBA brother in destiny, Trae Young. It forces defenses into a series of snap-second decisions. Another thing I love about Luka's playmaking is the risk involved. He's been diving into this weird bag of acting like he's lost in the air after jumping, and then throwing a pass that looks like it physically should not have gotten to the wing. Or he'll use a screen to drive deep into the paint, directly into triple coverage with no chance of a bucket, and yet one simple behind the back pass later, and the Mavs have 3 points up on the board. He constantly has me sitting on this threshold of, all right, well, that's just another typical Luka pass, and oh my God, what the fuck did Luka just do? And luckily, his coaches have trusted him to make these radical decisions on the court because they love the end result, and so do we. I consider myself a very lucky fan that he made his way over to the States to play ball. European basketball is mainly focused on the fundamentals, not too many over-the-top antics happening over there. And after making the switch from Euro to the NBA, we've been seeing Luka literally experiment against the absolute best defenders in the world. And that makes me smile a lot. His passes often creep into the category of being demoralizing because Luka will do this thing where he won't force the issue, but instead wait for you to double only to impossibly find the open man. He has a willingness to let his teammates take the big shot. He could very easily take all of the late contested shots and will probably make a decent chunk of them, but the IQ and desire to recognize that a better shot is somewhere else, that's just really enjoyable to watch. So what do I think Luka's limitless potential and overall ceiling is going to be? A multiple-time MVP? A scoring and assist champ in the same season at least twice? All-NBA first team every single season a la LeBron James? The best pick-and-roll player in the entire game? And once the old heads retire, I think Luka will be a perennial top 3 player in the NBA, right next to players like Giannis and Jason Tatum. It's not really a well-kept secret that Luka is my second favorite player in the league behind Nikola Jokic. And that's what this series is all about, highlighting not only who I think is going to be an absolutely phenomenal playmaker moving forward, but also highlighting my favorite guards in the league right now to watch. And I recently found out that I have put a certain California-born guard into my top 3 favorite PGs in the league, and this realization came after they got spanked in the play-in by the Hawks. And no, you cannot ask me why a 28% shooting performance from LaMelo was the final straw in me calling him one of my faves. I genuinely do not have an answer. But without further ado, let's finish off this video by talking about the human highlight reel below the rim, LaMelo Ball. The fascination I have with LaMelo is that I often have to ask, was that necessary? And not in a negative way either. The thing with Melo is that he's predisposed to flair. His whole basketball career, his pops, his lifestyle, all flair. It's been in him since day one, and we get to see it on the most competitive basketball stage there is. And truth be told, the game will always need it. The splash of flash guards like Rajon Rondo, Manu Ginobili, Pistol Pete Maravich, they keep passing, which is an otherwise underappreciated art, enjoyable to watch for all. And at 20 years old, LaMelo is well on his way to not only becoming one of the best flashy passers in the NBA, but one of the overall best passers in the league. He's improving every game in the pick and roll, making wiser decisions while not throwing his body into a dead zone. He's whipping offhand passes from the free throw line to the corner, he's throwing off the dribble lobs to big men, or he's throwing underhanded bounce passes in transition to someone leaking out. And he's not doing this for him. Sure, there's probably a decent amount of enjoyment that he gets after making a really good pass, but he wants to get his teammates involved. Someone with as big a personality as him wanting to make sure his whole squad is fed makes me appreciate him that much more. So what do I think this young, very bright superstar's overall ceiling is? A one-time MVP, alternating between All-NBA first and second teams because there are going to be a lot of other very talented guards here, a 3-time assist champ, and the next big free agent story, a la LeBron's decision. All in all, I'm very excited about the next gen of playmakers in the league. They're crafting their very own passing profiles, and with each passing week, they improve not only in their passing, but in their overall games. And I highlighted these 3 because they're my personal favorites right now. I could have easily included players like Tyrese Haliburton, Trae Young, Dejounte Murray, Josh Giddey, and many, many others, but that would be an hour-long video. And hey, maybe that's a good problem for us NBA fans to have.